After all the trouble she has had to endure, Wendy Williams' situation does not appear to be getting any better, according to reports from insiders. Wendy is currently confined to the hospital and is not permitted to leave the building. Wendy's son Kevin Jr. eventually chose to speak out in the midst of all of these contentious rumors regarding his mother's illness and explain what is actually going on and why she is unable to recover. Moreover, it appears that the situation is even worse than we had anticipated, folks. So let's examine the specifics of this tale. Hello everyone, and thank you for returning to News Trend TV channel. Thus, Wendy Williams' health issue made news once more last week. Additionally, the reason she was checked into a hospital was kept a secret. Fans conjectured that Wendy was being covertly treated for addiction, while others said that her sleazy staff had actually forced her to labor for money. Her hospitalization's exact nature has never been made public, and as her rep claimed, rumors that the TV diva was depressed were overstated. He also mentioned that Wendy had already been released from the hospital a few days prior. I can confirm that Wendy Williams is not in the hospital, despite what Page 6's exclusive interview with the former Wendy Williams show host's publicist claimed. Additionally, I can confirm that she is not in New York, contrary to what was stated. This is not the first time this man has misled the public. He seems to be disseminating more untruths about Wendy than the tabloids. Like that episode of Wendy's podcast that will shortly be released. So far, none of his claims have been verified or proven to be accurate. Additionally, Kevin Jr., Wendy's son, appears to be over the games. Wendy's staff is tampering with her health and psyche. He made the decision to come out in order to protect his mother from these offenders, as the Sun recently reported. Little boy hasn't seen his mother since she left treatment about a year ago. According to one insider, Kevin Jr. didn't even know that his mother was filming a new reality program about her life until lately. He had been under the impression that she was getting better and getting back on track with her sobriety all along, the person claimed. Kevin and his mother are not in contact. When Wendy visited Florida in April, she did not get to see tiny Kevin. Little Kev, it turned out, didn't even consider that his mother needed saving once more. Instead, he was focused on living his life and hoped that all of Wendy's troubles and sorrow were past. He didn't realize how serious the problem was either until an insider revealed it, saying he was doing great, trying to keep focused, and going on with his life. He has returned to college. If he hadn't taken the final year off to care for her, he would have already graduated. And now that Kevin has discovered how his mother's team had cheated her and compelled her to return to work, ultimately resulting in her illness, his world has been flipped upside down once more. Wendy's staff apparently even tried to keep Kevin Jr. away from his mother because they were aware of how he would react to them, taking advantage of her and putting the evil TV diva in the spotlight. They seem to have a lot of sway over Wendy because they were able to cut off all communication with her and her only kid. According to the source, one of her production team members accidentally called Kevin's lawyer, which led to Kevin learning the truth. She reportedly didn't call him when she was coming either, according to the source, but Kevin's lawyer was contacted by someone in the production about the project. First time he learned she was being filmed. Little Kev, who believed his mother would never again be in the spotlight, was understandably furious to hear of the documentary and reality program. And now that his eyes have opened, he is upset that history will soon be repeated. After the diva had to abruptly withdraw from the speaking engagement and forfeit the $25,000 she was due for her address, worries about her well-being increased. According to what the media reported, Wendy was twice taken to the hospital in the days preceding the event because she was simply not well enough to perform on stage. Apparently, when Kevin Jr. learned about everything that had happened, he requested that his mother remain in the hospital for as long as was necessary for her to fully heal. And it's simply his means of preventing his ill mother from being around her team. Wendy doesn't appear to be able to speak clearly, much less deliver the entire speech in front of a large audience. But her team wasn't even considering how well she could perform. Wendy's performance skills have, according to one source, been at best spotty. One day, she can put a sentence together, the next, not so much. Well, it appears that young Kev may pursue his mother's nasty team, who were undoubtedly taking advantage of her and trying to get as much money as possible by forcing the distressed diva to take part in as many projects as possible. However, despite numerous reports regarding the podcast, reality program, or other unidentified projects, not a single release has been made so far. Which begs the question of what Wendy's team is actually attempting to accomplish. It's problematic that they're trying to overwork Wendy, as one admirer remarked. Until she feels better, she should continue to relax. Wendy hasn't been appearing well, a different person added. She must spend a lot of time in the hospital. And if you've been keeping up with Wendy's life over the past few months, you should be aware of the terrible condition she was in. People who saw her in New York drinking and going to bars commented that it was terrible to see the TV in such a state, despite her best efforts to appear joyful and smile. They also said that she was hardly comprehending what was happening. It seems that without her kid around, she was easily seduced by the wrong people once more. That's why she continued drinking, even after spending months in treatment. Other family members supported Wendy's side and publicly criticized Wendy's team for exploitation, but Kevin Jr. was oblivious to what his mom was going through. And I suppose that not enough attention is paid to this problem. When Wendy visited her estranged brother in Florida in April, Tommy stepped up and spoke about Wendy's terrible situation. The entire room was silent. And despite being in poor health, the diver kept producing her reality show. Tanya was the first to speak out on Wendy's condition, and he stated that she wasn't in the correct frame of mind. People have been kicking her around for the entire time. She is incapable of contemplation because she cannot reason it out. As a result, she is getting advice from others. It appears that the family members chose to present a unified face in order to prevent Wendy from getting worse. She needed emergency medical help because of his hectic schedule and frequent flying from one state to another to gather enough video for the show. The former TV personality also found the show to be exhausting. In the past, Kevin Jr. had to give up his own life to be beside his mother, and he had to take a year off from college to be by her side as she went through a contentious divorce from her ex-husband. He now blames his mother's medical personnel for her current condition and thinks she should remain under observation until she regains consciousness, begins to behave logically, and begins to comprehend what is happening. Working, in Kevin's opinion, might worsen his mother's physical and mental conditions to the point where she might lose her ability to recognize her family members. The young guy claimed that he had last attempted to contact his mother in July 2022, when he traveled to New York to honor her birthday. However, sources claim that the TV diva refused to let him into the residence. As it turned out, Wendy was already in a bad mood at the time, and it appears that she was unaware that her son was waiting for her. Tommy Williams speculated that her crew might be tampering with Wendy's medication, purposefully putting something in her drinks, or possibly to keep her in line, I let her delve headfirst into her alcoholism. It should be a wonderful occasion, as Tommy said, both for her son and her family. But within Wendy's head, everyone is having a terrific time. And I have no idea who those individuals are. It might simply be a large group of non-human beings occupying her mental space. If only you could determine that. Since Wendy's mental state is currently pretty sad and her team continuously spreading lies to the media, perhaps this is the reason she is currently in the hospital and her son is beginning to wonder if she will ever make it or at least grasp reality promises. However, Wendy is undoubtedly not in good health. According to sources close to Kevin Jr., he is very concerned about his mother's health and wants all of these initiatives and tasks to end permanently. Her hospitalization doesn't even appear to be a career move because we have all seen her state and condition, the sources claim. Little Kev's new strategy is to keep his mother in the hospital until she recovers, at which point he will permanently cut her team out of his life. Despite losing Wendy's tea, the bulk of her admirers simply want her to retire, and many of them agree with Kevin Jr. I hope she survives and completely steps away from the spotlight, as one person said. She craves peace because the business is cruel. Another user added that she was compelled to accept the job before quitting of it. Another technique to test her willingness to give money. Wendy appears to be under the influence, and her son is quite worried about his mother's deteriorating condition. Despite what her team claims, it appears like Wendy won't be able to return. As a result, she requires a lengthy nap and the protection of her son from these vultures. What do you think, then? Will Wendy improve while being monitored by a doctor? Do you want her to re-enter the spotlight? Post your ideas in the comments section below. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Watch my other videos on Wendy's filthy escapades in the meantime. This woman has endured a lot just to speak. I guess that's everything for today. I appreciate your attention. Remain tuned. And I pledge to return as soon as possible.